You gotta be kidding me. There's a DLC?
That wasn't part of the deal, Dice.
Oh, on the contrary, my dear little friend. He said, and I quote, any game of my choosing. So, I choose the game. And that includes the DLC.
You...
Oh, please. I'm the devil's right-hand man. But let's see if you can save your souls under... Oh my goodness. You have till 5 hours till your souls are mine. You better get a move on. Or don't. The Big Ben would love to meet you too.
Alright then. You wanna play paparazzi? Let's play paparazzi.
So, remember back in 2018 when they highlighted some new DLC for Cuphead? Well, it turns out it looks great, and it would have been great DLC in 2019. But of course, it did not release in 2019. Why? Well... we didn't hear much about the delicious last course throughout 2019. Some might even believe that it was cancelled altogether. Of course it isn't, but it was pure silence. And then it happened. December 2021. The Games Award happened, showcasing the new games that are coming out in 2022. One of them includes none other than the delicious last course. And what we see is something more than just added love. To be honest, to me it felt like a sequel to the game itself. This made me excited. In fact, thrilled to see it back. But we still got to wait till June 30th, 2022. It was a long wait, but I did not care. The DLC was finally released, and from the very start, I was thrilled to play it. Even though I have to face up with the same old Cuphead difficulty. So the question remains, is it worth the wait? Well, time to play the DLC pack to find out. So get ready, because this match will be red hot as we review the delicious last course. It's jamming time! After you save her from one of the mausoleums, the clock guy appears, telling the cup duos that she needs their help in aisle 4. And what help is that? Well, do you become her living cup form again? There's a person that could help them in this case, and that is none other than the greatest chef in all lands, Chef Saltbreaker. He has a set plan to get her out of this predicament by none other than making the Wonder Tart. There is a catch, however. In order to make the Wonder Tart, they need a set ingredients, and those set ingredients are guarded by various foes. So it's up to Cuphead, Mugman, and the lovely Miss Chalice to venture towards all the bosses, defeat them all, grab those ingredients, and bring them to Chef Saltbreaker to make the Wonder Tart. Yeah, it's simple, straight to the point, and there's no evil plot, it's just good deeds. Nothing sinister at all. Nothing sinister at all indeed. For this review, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I already fully explained how to play Cuphead in my previous review, so I don't want to be beating the dead horse here. But if you want to know how to play Cuphead, well, you can click this little tab right here. I'll give you 5 seconds to reconsider. Still here? Alright, well, let's discuss about Miss Chalice, shall we? Miss Chalice plays a lot similar to Cuphead. She jumps, she shoots, and she parries. Though the style of it is a lot different. For one, she has a double jump instead of parrying after her jump. And her dash is actually her parry. Now, to be honest, this was a little bit tricky to get used to, but I quickly adapted over it, and I pull off some amazing moves with it. The one thing I'm not really fond of is the dodge roll. Yeah, Miss Chalice is able to dodge roll, but what's the problem with that? Well, in order to do the dodge roll, you have to press down and then do a dash. Now imagine trying to avoid a projectile while at the same time accidentally do a dash instead, causing you to get hit by an enemy or a projectile itself. See the problem here? That's not the only thing that is different. Having 3-way split bullets and aeroplanes, as well as having different super arts compared to the previous super arts for Cuphead and Mugman. Let's not forget to mention she has a smaller hitbox than Cuphead and Mugman, also having 4 hit points too. Wow. She is actually quite a unique power-up. And yes, I said power-up. Apparently you can only play as her if you equip the charm. Honestly, I thought that was a little bit of a letdown, but on the other hand, I think it's the best idea, because if she has any of other Cuphead's and Mugman's charms, she would basically be broken. But I hear what you might be saying. She's basically easy mode for this game, right? Right? No. No, she is not. Yes, Miss Chalice has a double jump, but she doesn't jump as high as Cuphead or Mugman with a single jump, which means in order to get to a higher platform, you have to press the jump button again. And let's not forget to mention, you have to get used to the dodge roll mechanic, as well as having your dash to be parry instead of pressing the jump button again, like with Cuphead and Mugman. And let's not forget to mention the bosses, even playing as Miss Chalice or just the Cup brothers themselves, are really tough. Like, tougher than the previous Isles I ever seen. Let's use Glumstone Giant for an example. You have a platform that moves up and down or disappeared altogether, and the floor to stand on. Stone will be standing on the right side of the screen, it's just standing there. Okay, so what's the problem there? The gnomes! The gnomes! One of the gnomes will be able to climb up onto the platform and try to whack you with a hammer. Other times, gnomes will just pop out of the ground and just suddenly shoot gold at your current direction. And if you stand on the floor for too long, they will poke their heads out like spikes and harm you instantly. And not to mention, that stone giant will open his big mouth and those gnomes will send in a puff of smoke towards your current direction. But that does not stop there. The gnome might be the ones as a hindrance, but the stone giant also has two set attacks, the bear and the geeses. The bear is quite simple. He will pull out the bear and try to swipe you on the left side of the screen. All you have to do is move away from it, right? Well, it's easier said than done. But yeah, it's basically about it. But the geeses, whenever he whistles them, those geeses will fly above the screen, so you have to get to lower ground. Which sounds simple enough, except there's one slight itty-bitty problem. Remember when I mentioned about the platforms moving up and down or disappeared altogether? Well, try to avoid the geeses when the platform that is low on the ground decides to rise up in the air, which either means you have to move to a different platform to avoid that attack, or get to the floor altogether. We'll have to face with those gnomes poking out their heads like spikes. Bro, I only talk about Phase 1. I have not even talked about Phase 2 or 3 yet. However, and thankfully for this DLC, there are new charms and weapons that can help you along the way. The Converge, for example, has full-screen 3-way piercing shots. But if you press down the lock button, those spread-out shots will become narrow, allowing you to do more damage than before. And then there's the Twist-Up, which has rapid fire, but doesn't do a lot of damage. In fact, it can only be a little bit more useful for shooting opponents above you without having to aim or using other methods like using the Chaser or my personal favorite shot of them all, the Crack Shot. The Crack Shot. Up close and personal, it will do major damage, but do it from a distance will break out into weaker projectiles that will home onto the opponent's current position. This is the most broken shot of them all, and it's not just for Isles 4, but all Isles in general. I love it. We also got 2 new charms, which come in form of the Heart Ring, which if you parry once, third, or every 6th time, you'll actually be able to gain a heart point per parry, as well for the Broken Rug, which, you know what, we'll go back to the Broken Rug in another time. Trust me, this will be important later. You notice that there isn't any run and gun stages to get some money. In fact, they're kinda abandoned at this point. Honestly, I don't really miss them. They were not really implemented very well in the Cuphead games. I'm kinda glad that they didn't do it for the DLC. But still, the question remains. How do you get money in order to get these shots and charms? Introducing the King's Leap, where the King of Games lives above the clouds, where you must do one simple task. Defeat the King's champions. How you do that? Well, not by shooting them down, but by using your parry. Yep, this not only replaces the run and gun stages, not only replaces the Mausoleums, but also reuses an old idea they had with the jelly, the octopus. In fact, some of the bosses and charms are reused too. The spider mobster, based on the giant spider that they scrapped. the second phase of the Moonshine Lobster, a rework from the Light boss so long ago. The coverage, an old idea that was recently scrapped and now reused for this game. It's surprising how they rework old ideas into something new these days. When it comes to visual and sound, you might think that there's nothing much to talk about. And you're not wrong, it's like Cuphead's approach. Hand-drawn animation, selected music, and not to mention the aesthetics. However, I got to say, they have it a lot better than before. The animation make it a lot faster, and the background and foregrounds make it feel more lifelike. I mean, sure, they have backgrounds and foregrounds, but this... Oh man. With Cuphead's DLC bosses, there's much more things going on in the background and the foreground. Like, the landscape moves away, like as if you're flying in the air, battling the dogs, or you see the audience cheering you on when you face Mortimer Freeze. Even when he slams the whale, the icicles will fly into the foreground when they get hit. Sure, they have it in the original game, but nothing big like this. And the music is always good. But they did more than just jazz or big early bands or even swing. They did string instruments, with yodeling for Esther Winchester, the trumpet for Glumstone the Giant, even the xylophones, use of piano, and let's not forget to mention Bacon the Wonder Tart. Each of them give their own identity to the bosses, and it felt like I want more of it. I love it so much, I'd even decided to buy it on Steam and just listen to it on my free time. Sure, I could have just listened to it on YouTube for free. Yeah. But it was so worth it.
Yes, we did it!
Not so fast. You're forgetting something.
Like what? Some secret chance to go through? Getting A ranks or something like that?
Yeah, about that, Waluigi.
Wait, what? There is? Oh,
Other than doing a perfect run on normal and expert mode, there's also more to it too. You see, if you beat the DLC in general, you'll be able to have Miss Chalice in all the aisles. That means aisles 1 through 3, you can play as Miss Chalice whenever you want. But there is more to it than just playing as Miss Chalice. You see, there's this Cactus girl that always has this vivid dream of Miss Chalice fighting against a certain boss. But if you beat all the bosses as Miss Chalice, you'll be able to get the golden variant of Miss Chalice. It's bragging rights, but hey, it's a nice old for her. Also, there is the Gauntlet Run, which basically you have to fight against all the King's men and run go. And what do you get out of it? Also bragging rights. Yeah. But there is one more thing to discuss. Remember the broken relic I talked about earlier? Well, if you equip the broken relic and do a certain order in the gravestone by given the hints by the expeditioneers, you'll be able to unlock a secret boss. Now this secret boss is tough, but if you know what to do, you're able to beat it in no time flat. It's not really that long, it's kind of short to be honest. But once you beat it, you'll be cursed.
Cursed?
Oh, no worries, Waluigi, it's not that bad. You basically have all the charms and weapons. The only catch is the weapons constantly change every time you stop shooting. And while you start off weak, you get stronger and stronger every time you level up the charm, or weaken the curse in this case. The catch is you only start off with 1 heart.
Oh, okay. That's wait. One heart? What?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That's kind of murder action right there. I mean, sure, I can handle having all the charm abilities in one go with a few minor weaknesses. Sure, I can handle having all the weapons equipped while randomly changing on you. But when you start off with 1 heart, that's a little bit nerve-wracking. I mean, yeah, it's doable, and if you play your cards right and able to break the curse bit by bit, not to mention parry enough times to gain more health, you'll be able to beat the bosses in no time. Though I'm not gonna lie, when I first tried it, I got so frustrated to the point that I had to use the cheat code to help me out a little bit. But for my second run though, I actually had a lot more fun than I did before. Best thing about it is once you be able to break the curse, you turn it into the Divine Relic, which basically means you have all the charm abilities and all the weapons equipped. I mean, sure, you have to face the minor weaknesses of constantly changing weapons every time you stop shooting, but hey, it's better than start off with one heart, right? On the outside, it is what the title said it is. It's basically a DLC for Cuphead. There's new bosses, new weapons, and new charms to boot. But on the inside, that's an entirely different story. This isn't just a DLC. This is an extra challenge for the players that already beat Cuphead or mastered Cuphead that they wanted more of a challenge. And that's what the DLC is there for, an added challenge. So, is it worth the $8? I'd say yes. Despite the short number of bosses, it definitely gave a run for my money, and more some with even harder difficulty with that cursed relic. I honestly hope that there's more to Cuphead than just one DLC. In fact, I wouldn't mind having a sequel for this series, or better yet, more DLC islands in the future, if they can, that is. If you got the game, I recommend the DLC. But if you don't have the game and you're wanting to play the Cuphead game and the DLC to boot, well, there are two options. You can do it, buy it, both of them, or you can get the physical version, which I highly recommend, yes. Cuphead officially has a physical version of the game, and I gotta say, man, I wish I would have gotten the physical version of Cuphead, because they had this puppet, and I love puppets. It's just, oh man. I knew I should have waited for the physical version, but I digress.
How? Yes! In your face, dice! Now, deal's a deal. No! That does it.
Knockout!
No one, I mean no one messes with King Dice!
I'm taking you upset one way or another. You're gonna pay for that, you son of...
Knockout! Have a wonderful trip. Man, what a day. Hope we won't see that loser again soon. How? What was that? What was that for?
What was that for? What was that for? Waluigi, you just bet our souls! Our souls! Do you realize what would happen if we lost?
Hey, we won, no harm's done.
No harm done, huh? You know what? The next time when you get into a trouble situation, leave me out.
That's all there is? There isn't anymore. Or is there?
First the cups, now this jam fellow. This is unacceptable.
Look, I can explain.
Silence! You had not one soul, but 2 souls. 2! And you lost to a mere skinny purple man and this jam fellow over a video game.
It's not my fault. It's his friend. He's just too stubborn to quit. Please, just give me a chance for your number 1.
Is he now? Well then, maybe we could use this to our advantage. Oh, and King Dice. I hate disappointments. Now, go on. And this is your final chance.